welcome back to the channel. I've spent my entire week with this 2025 Genesis G70. Now, to be specific, this is the 3.3T all-wheel drive sport version of the Genesis G70. This is the best version of the G70 you can get, which means you get the all-wheel drive, but you also get that really nice twin-turbo V6. Now, the Genesis G70 reminds me of vehicles like the Kia Stinger and especially the TLX Type S. Now, how does it compare to those vehicles that I've spent a considerable amount of time with both of those platforms? Well, let's take you through the entire vehicle and find out. I'm going to show you the exterior, the interior, and of course a POV drive. Let's get right into it. So first up, as usual, we have the front end for the Genesis G70. Looks really nice, looks really classy, right? What you don't get on the TLX Type S and the Stinger, well, maybe the Stinger has a little bit more of a classy look, but Genesis just takes things to a whole other level when it comes to classics. There's not really any changes exterior wise for the 2025 version. Really, there's no changes at all. I think they added a paint color, that's about it. But let's get nice and close here. You can see we've got really nice daytime running LEDs. I do really enjoy this front grille, especially here in Quebec, because we do not need a front plate. A front plate ruins this front grille in my opinion. Nice Genesis logo. Of course, we've got parking sensors, a front facing camera, the works. This is a luxury vehicle and it's around $65,000 Canadian. You definitely are paying for all the tech and nice looks that you're getting, don't get me wrong. But overall, I really like the front end. Looks really sporty and luxurious at the same time. No problems with it. So under the hood for the Genesis G70, we have the twin-turbo 3.3 liter V6 engine. That's going to give us 365 horsepower, 376 pound-feet of torque. We also get all-wheel drive and an 8-speed automatic transmission. And like I said in the beginning, as tested price here is right around that $65,000 Canadian mark, which isn't terrible, especially considering all the speed, performance, and luxury stuff you get in here. Okay, so next we're going to move on to the side profile. This is where I think the car looks its best. The side profile is a nice place to look at the G70. You can see in my kind of like off gray color, it does collect the dirt on the roads. Unfortunately, it's winter, so it's extremely hard to keep this thing in pristine condition, but I will include some B-roll where it is. But not a lot to write home about here on the side profile. It's very basic, but it does look really cool. You can see we've got the red brakes that are Genesis logoed as well. I like the rims on this one. I like the turn signal LED. We also get a camera for our blind spot camera detector and just your general 360 needs, which is very nice. You do have a sensor on the door here. You can see I've got a bit of ice on it on top of it, but that hasn't affected anything so far, so that's great news. Let's move over to the back here, where again you get kind of these like sort of iconic taillights at this point. I mean, if you know what Genesis is, then you've probably seen them before. They are very nice, and we also have kind of like a quad exhaust setup, but it's an interesting way that they've done it. You can see they kind of have like this oval shape, but there's two exhausts on each side that kind of come out. They're a little bit more hidden, but I do like it. You got a little bit of a diffuser right there, and this is the part of the Genesis G70 in the winter that gets the most dirty. So I'm going to keep my distance so you don't get too bothered by it. But yeah, really nice looking rear end. Last but not least though, let's check out the trunk. So one button right here, we can press it and will automatically open for us. Hasn't gotten frozen or anything in the ice, hasn't been hard to open at all. Plenty of trunk space, really, really good. Kind of compromises the rear room just a little bit because we do have a lot of trunk space, but if you fold the seats down here, you're gonna have a ton of room, and so far this week, have had no problem living with this thing. So that's pretty much going to do it for my full tour of the Genesis G70. Really nice exterior look, looks really, really cool, but there's a lot more to go over on the interior, so let's hop in because it's really cold and look at that. All right, up first, as usual, is the rear for the Genesis G70. You can see, look at this red leather interior. Oh my goodness, look how good this looks. And you even got the red seat belts all along. Really, really nice. 3 levels of heated seats back here. You can see that right there. Nice Genesis logo. You can see how much dirt this thing picks up though, because in this color, you really see the winter dirt here in Montreal, but no problem. Let's actually hop in here. It's raining outside as usual, so nice to close the door. And we have our own vents back here. You can see we've got 2 USB-C charge ports. Very nice. We've got a ton of leg room, and I could actually increase it because you see I got a button right here on the passenger seat that I could move it all the way up. I could also make it fold. I can make it come back. Say for whatever reason I wanted less room in the back, well, I can make that adjustment here as well. But in this configuration, as you can see, I've got a ton of knee room. This is really good. I really don't have any complaints about my space on this side of the vehicle. But if you go over to where I'm sitting, just for reference, I am 5'11", and this is how I drive, right? This is how I sit, exactly like this. Tell me how tell me how you're fitting anybody in here. I'm not sure. I don't think I would want to sit behind myself. I don't think I would be able to do it. This is more of like, I guess, on the more compact side of sedans, but still, there's not a lot of room there. You can see if I move this, yeah. I think I would have to move my seat up first before somebody got in. But I'm comfortable, and I don't really have that many back passengers, so I think I'm okay. So let's take a look at actually these seats. Look at the nice pattern design on this leather. Again, I love the seat belt. And we've got this guy that's going to fold down. Nice little cup holder. Really, really nice. The seats are actually really comfortable. You can see they've kind of got like an indent to them as well, so they do hold you in. This car has some decent amount of speed to it, so that's going to be nice. We've got our own lighting controls back here. There's no panoramic sunroof, but you get a decent view of that one sunroof right there, so really hard to complain about it. If the thing stayed like this, I could do a road trip back here. Like if the passenger was pretty short, didn't mind. If I had to sit behind myself, I'm really not sure how I would do that. But let's show you up front. Let's hop in the business end. Next up is the front seat for the Genesis G70. You can see we've got 2 memory seat settings right here. Also, we got the red leather up here with all of our door controls and window controls. Really nice seats here. Again, look at this nice, I like the silver right here too. We've got a bunch of seating controls down here. It's got kind of like the leg rest adjustment, which I do really enjoy having, nice and luxurious, but it's raining, so let's hop in. Easy to get in, absolutely no problem. I've got a ton of room up in my front seat because, like I said, I don't have anybody sitting behind me. So that's kind of going to be the biggest deal there. So once you're in, though, you're greeted by this steering wheel. Very nice Genesis steering wheel with the red stitching all around. I like the physical buttons on the steering wheel. Kind of, you got your right-hand side for all of your media controls, your phone controls, different stuff like that. And then the left-hand side is going to be for cruise control, lane centering assist. We do have some paddle shifters. They're plastic, but still feel decent, right? I'm not really using the paddle shifters that often, to be honest, in here. I'm more just letting the car do what it does. No problem. Left-hand side, we've got the gas button. We've also got our illumination controls, and we've got our Harman Kardon sound system speaker, which is really nice. And we've got our Lexicon sound speaker. I think I've had Lexicon before. It's not the greatest, but it's better than what you find on the kind of the general vehicle, so I do enjoy that. Next, we move on to our digital gauge cluster. It's kind of like I guess the older one, because Genesis of 2025, the GV80 Coupe, had like this way different gauge cluster. This is kind of, I guess, a little bit of the older version of things, but it is still really nice. You get to see all the information that you would need on here. You can also shift through the drive modes and it will change based off that. So you can see Sport has a really cool one, Sport Plus and Sport have really cool ones. Comfort's got a nice one, and then Eco has an interesting one. So it kind of changes things up as you go through. Usually I'm in custom mode, which you can kind of change. I'll take you through that in just a second once we move over to our digital infotainment display. Now, this is like on the small side, and it would be nice to see Genesis kind of give the G70 the full screen treatment, if you will. Like we saw on the Genesis Coupe that I showed you a couple of weeks ago. Would have been nice to just have that kind of get the G70 get that treatment as well. But still, again, even knowing it's kind of a little bit older in 2025, it still does really well. I like all of the setup that you can do. You can do Apple CarPlay, Android Auto as well. You got built-in navigation. So really everything that you need is here. You can also change your drive mode setup as well. You can have everything in Sport Plus or everything in comfort mode. Here we can go down to it. We can find it here, drive mode. You can see your custom mode right here. You can see I've got pretty much everything in Sport Plus and the all-wheel drive in Sport, but it keeps my traction control on. When I put it in Sport Plus, normally it doesn't do that. So this is kind of like the Sport Plus without being Sport Plus kind of thing, you know what I mean? So yeah, you can configure a bunch of stuff like that. You can have your suspension in comfort if you want to. I like this. That's a feature that Genesis has done quite well over the years. I do enjoy it. We've got a bunch of physical buttons down here. I've heard some complaint about this one. I love the physical buttons. I'm a physical button person. I don't think it should be like a touch button like it is down here. I think it should be still physical buttons, but maybe integrated into the dash maybe a little bit better. I find this one sticks out just a little bit, but still very useful. Quick selection, quick access buttons. I like it, and it's physical, so I'm really not going to complain that much. We do have some physical controls for our HVAC system, kind of the quick stuff, but everything else is tied into a second screen, which you're used to seeing, and this works well. It's a haptic feedback button. I do enjoy it. Dual zone automatic climate control, no big problems with it. We've also got ventilated seats here, so that's nice as well. A little bit lower, we've got a USB charge port. That's where it kind of looks dated, right? Because a lot of things now are USB-C, including my phone now. So, I don't really use the USB, but I do have adapters because I drive a bunch of different cars. We have the wireless charger here, and our 12-volt outlet. And then we get on to our gear selector, which is an interesting one. You've got your reverse, neutral, and drive right here, and then to park it, you just press this button. So it actually, like, it always remains center, right? So if I put it in drive, neutral, it always pops itself back to center, and then I put it in park, and it just stays there. So it's cool. It doesn't take much to get used to. You can see my drive mode selector right here, track control on or off, parking sensors, auto brake hold, and then we have our sort of 360-degree camera. It does the overhead one. It doesn't really do the full render one, but I still will take it. I like it. Then we have nice cup holders, a little bit of storage inside there. And we also, like I showed you, the front seat, we've got the buttons right here. There's a bit of a closer shot of that. Really nice here. I do still really enjoy kind of the overall look of the interior for the Genesis G70. I think it's very nice. I still think it's very classy. I would just like to see it have, you know, the actual treatment. Get the new tech in here, and I think it's really, really going to look even better. So that's going to be the interior tour out of the way. Let me strap the GoPro to my forehead, and we'll take it on a POV drive. Let's do it. All right, welcome back to winter in Canada, and we lose the sunlight quite quickly, but still got some nice light out to drive the G70 with you guys. So overall, it's been a super comfortable week, right? I feel like Genesis does such a good job at blending kind of sportiness and, you know, luxury all into one. They do a really good job. They don't really focus on either of the areas. They kind of give you a decent, you know, go of it in kind of both areas. And you can see, like, I am driving, that was some ice back there that was frozen over. I could hear the tires spinning, but it immediately worked itself out with the four-wheel drive, and, you know, I really didn't even get a traction warning. But you can kind of hear the tires slipping a little bit, but still, if you got a good pair of winter tires on this thing, look, you're not gonna have any problems with its four-wheel drive. Also, check out my turn signals. You can see I've got a camera when I put them on. That's very nice. That's something that, you know, the top end of the Kia and the Hyundais do, and it's also on the Genesis here, and I think it's one of the best. I really do like having that extra camera. It's very nice to see. I do have paddle shifters, stuff like that. It will let you redline if you turn traction control fully off and you go into manual mode. It will let you bounce off the rev limiter. Not something I really am doing too much here in the winter, but we can put it into Sport Plus mode. Traction control is like sort of off. I don't know if it's fully off. And we will just get past this intersection and give it some beams here. Oh yeah, this thing, I'm telling you, in Sport Plus, this thing has got beams. It really holds gears really well too. You can see I'm at 4,000 RPM. It's still holding it. And then there you go, you get the shift up because I wasn't really pushing on the throttle. Really, really impressive, like super impressive how quick this thing really is. A twin turbo V6, and it is not playing around. Let me tell you something. You really feel all of the horsepower. Even in, like, I've got winter tires on, it's not good out, it's cold outside, it's like minus 10 or 15 with the wind chill out here in Quebec right now, but man, that's good. I also really like how quiet it is inside here. Like, I really don't feel like I can hear the tires that much. Obviously, when you go faster and faster, you start to hear it a little bit more. It's definitely not class leading, but the noise isolation in here is really decent. Visibility is really good as well. I have like full range. There's nothing that's too big, nothing that's in my way. Blind spot's very easy to see as well, so there's no problem there. I also have a heads-up display, and look, I have like this lane centering assist where, look, it's not a hands-free system, but it will almost take the turn pretty much all the way for me. I do like to keep my hands when it does this because it's a little bit scary. But still, look, so say I was on an actual highway, now I'm just kind of on a back road, but say I was on the actual highway, it would take the highway curve at whatever, you know, cruise control speed that you've set it at. It's also adaptive, so that's gonna be really nice. I just think it's so cool. As far as handling goes, like there is some, like the car does stiffen up quite a bit. I'm not going to do too much of that because I do have traction control off. But usually I'll drive it in this mode, which is my custom mode, which turns traction control on, but everything else is basically in Sport Plus mode. Also, a lot of the noises that you're going to hear, so like if I slow down a little bit here and I give it some beam, some gas, so a lot of that, some of that is the engine actually, some of that is the twin turbo V6, but there is a sound design. I turned it up all the way so you guys can hopefully hear it. There is some pumped in audio here, but look, when it comes to pumped in audio, I really don't care that it's there anymore. I think it's completely fine. I think, look, you can't beat them, you might as well join them. Look at the new Dodge Charger. It has a literal speaker as an exhaust sound. So that's where we are now. So bumped-in audio is here to stay. So you know what? I don't hate it here in the G70. Like I said, handling is okay. Suspension is a little bit more rigid than something like on the TLX Type S. I feel like the TLX Type S handling-wise was a lot better. This is not bad by any means. It's just, I feel like I said, the Genesis maybe has a bit more of a focus on luxury rather than sport. Don't get me wrong, it still absolutely has the sportiness to it. I just feel like when I drive the TLX Type S, I feel like the suspension is a little like more, like the weight transfer in it is a little better, and just I feel more connection from something like a TLX. This is right on par though with like a Kia Stinger. It reminds me a lot of a Kia Stinger. I don't know if people are gonna get mad at me for saying that, but it really does. The blend of luxury and sportiness and like decent exhaust and some really good speed with the all-wheel drive, like all that is present right here. And let's go for another little rip. Oh yeah. Oh man, even in cold conditions, the G70 will put a smile on your face. And I had a nice GV70 or GV80 coupe a couple weeks ago. It moved, but it didn't move like the sedan does, and it's just really nice. It's just, and look, I've got it in my custom mode. I'm super comfortable. Got my heated seat, heated steering on. I mean, I am just living life right now. And I just think that if you can afford to go for the 3.3 liter V6 twin turbo, absolutely do it. I think it's going to be worth it. 65 grand, look, nowadays in today's car market, 65 grand for a lot of this performance and luxury is actually not that bad. And I mean, even if you wanted like the luxury and maybe not the extreme sportiness of the V6, you could option this a little bit lower. You still get a lot of the nice materials. You still get like a lot of the stuff you're looking for right in front of me right here. But maybe a little bit less money because you don't have as much speed. I think though the G70 could really benefit from, say, like a mild hybrid system in the future. I think that's in the cards for it. I think that, you know, the Germans and stuff like that, the Mercedes and the BMWs of the world that are making vehicles like this are already doing the mild hybrid thing, and they are much quicker off the line. So if Genesis really wanted to like uptick its performance that much more, they could add a mild hybrid system, or even if they wanted to make like an efficient G70, they could do a fully plug-in hybrid electric, which I am absolutely here for. I don't think the world is ready to go fully electric cars, but I think we are ready for the transition for just every car to be a hybrid, or every car to be, you know, have some type of electric battery on board supporting the gas engine and helping kind of efficiency and potentially emissions as well. I think that's where we need to go, and hopefully Genesis does go there, because I think they could do a really good job. So yeah, let me know, which one would you take? Would you take the Kia Stinger, the TLX Type S, or the Genesis G70? I really want to know what people's thoughts are, or a completely other competitor that I have not brought up. I only bring up the Stinger and the TLX. Specifically the TLX, I spent a lot of time in the 23 and the 24 versions, and I'll probably spend some more time in the 25 because they usually get to Canada quite quick. It's usually a vehicle I can get my hands on pretty easily. So that would be awesome to do that. But yeah, I think, I don't know, I think I still like the TLX just for its pure sportiness. It's definitely not as comfortable, and you definitely don't get as many luxury items, I feel like, as you would get here on the G70, but still, it's a decent package. So that's just gonna about do it for my thoughts on the Genesis G70. What a vehicle for 2025. Like I said, the only drawbacks are I wish it got the same tech that it got, you know, that the G80, G70, GV70, you know, all the ones that got the big screen, all the Genesis models that had like the one screen thing. I wish that the G70 had that treatment. I think it would look really cool, and it's just to keep this car staying with the time. And it doesn't mean that this kind of setup here isn't good. It's great. I just want to see it kind of, you know, get upkeep. I want to see sedans on the market, and I want to see sedans get the love they deserve, because right now I feel like in the industry there's a lot of SUV focus. So I really, when it comes to a sedan, I want the same treatment. Give me the same stuff. Focus here on the sedans too, because I think there is still a really good market for sedans, and I want to keep it like that. So that's really my only drawback. Other than that, look, it's a really sporty vehicle. It's got the speed, it's got the all-wheel drive, so you're going to be fine in a winter condition like this, and you're also going to be extremely comfortable, and you're going to have like all your luxurious options that you could ever want out of an SUV. And that's absolutely perfect for me. So that being said, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. You might be watching this just after the Christmas holidays, possibly right before the New Year, or right on the New Year. So I'll take my time here and say I hope you really enjoyed whatever you celebrate. I hope you're currently enjoying it or have enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching this year. It's been such an honor to make these videos for you. You have no idea. It's the honor of my entire life. It is the coolest thing I have done and possibly one of the cooler things I ever will do in my life. So thank you so much. It's been such a crazy year. I look forward so much to bringing you as much car content as I can here in 2025, and let's finish out the year strong. I think I got one more vehicle, but I don't know if you're going to see it in 2024. So yeah, great to end off things here. Again, just thanks so much for subscribing, liking, commenting, and leaving your thoughts and feedback. I really appreciate every single one of you, even if you only watch my videos for 3 seconds or you don't even watch every single one. I appreciate it nonetheless. So that being said, I will see you the next week. See you in the next car. Take care.